Welcome back to Match Night Live. That is the group stage done and dusted, and mixed fortunes for Chelsea in the end, qualifying for the knockout stage, which was the main aim, but unable to get the win that would have seen the Blues go through as group winners. That falls to Roma. Finished here at the Bridge, Chelsea won, Atletico Madrid won, but the point wasn't enough for the finalists. In 2014 and 2016, they dropped down to the Europa League. Now, Pat Nevin, Jody Morris and Frank Sinclair are with me here in this studio. We look forward to hearing from you. We're hopefully going to get reaction from those involved in the action. Now, remember to get in touch. You can either give us a call or you can send us a tweet. Right then, gentlemen, let's start with your match reports on this one. Jody, Chelsea won, Atletico Madrid won.
And disappointment, because I thought we absolutely battered them in the second half. I thought we could have had 6 or 7 goals. Some really good clear chances. Their goalkeeper done okay, but we're guilty of missing some great opportunities, which I thought could have put the game to bed quite early in the second half. I thought there was 3 or 4 opportunities really quick into the half. I thought we was all right first half, but I thought it was a fairly even game. It was like kind of cancelling each other out. But then second half we opened them up quite easily, I felt, and was them scoring a goal was pretty much against the run of play. Yeah. Whether we could have done a bit better on, you never like conceding from set pieces, but near post flick from, I think, Torres, I think. But at the same, as I said, you can be happy with the way we played, because I felt we totally dominated the second half against a good team.
Frank, nodding away there when Jody was talking.
Yeah. I thought first half we kind of played into their hands, as in how slow the build-up was, and it gave them time to sort of like get behind the ball and get organised and make themselves difficult to beat. Second half there was an ejection of pace to our play, and that's why we got the opportunities we did. And to be fair, we could have won that game, could have run away comfortably 4 or 5. But then it looked like the more the game was going on, those games where you miss chances, they go up the other end with a sucker punch, was exactly what happened. And then we've done well to get a goal back, and I thought as soon as we scored the goal, obviously we get a chance within the same minute, but I still had the belief that we were going to get another goal, even though there was only 4 or 5 minutes left to go in the play. So it was disappointing, because we wanted to top the group.
Pat, you had a fantastic view. You're up in the gantry looking down. How did things pan out from your point of view?
I have to say, I thought right at the start of the game at Atletico Madrid, what they did is they tried to attack us, they closed us down, but maybe for 10, 15 minutes they were the better side and they had control of the game. But understandably, they had to do that. But slowly but surely, as the first half progressed, we get more and more opportunities, and again, like the lads were saying there, by the second half, we just shredded them. We had time after time, we had chance after chance after chance. And I cannot believe that we actually ended up only scoring 1 goal today. There was probably, I would say, 5 golden chances, minimum golden chances, which you've got to score with. And to be fair, the goalkeeper was okay, quite good. He made a couple of good saves. Our finishing just wasn't as good as it should be. And any other night, generally, we hammer that. And I've just got a funny feeling that had we needed to win to get through tonight, we probably would have.
Oh, it was an interesting one. They did post-match reaction on the televised game, and apparently Gary Cahill walked into the room where the interviews are done, and he said to the interviewer, "How did we not win that?" So the interviewer then, his first question was, "How did you not win that?" Because he said it as he walked through the door. He could not believe the amount of chances we had that you touched on, that they couldn't get the win.
Yeah, we just discussed it. The difference between probably us and Man City at the minute is the ruthlessness of how they kill teams off when they're so much superior. They're beating people 5s and 6s, and we're due to give someone that, but it's just not quite happening because of that final bit of play in the final third, that last pass. That little bit of quality, composure, and picking the right pass. There was times where, someone could have slid someone else in for a tap-in and went for goal themselves. And, that's something that we can improve on, definitely.
There'll be many games that we win with creating half as many chances. It's one of those. I thought it was quite similar to Arsenal versus Man United. I thought Arsenal dominated Man United, but if you don't score your chances, and they had a plethora of chances. But even as I said, today you get those games, and you did feel that the more and more it was going on, I fancied us to nick it, but you do look and go, is it going to be one of those nights? But then when you do get the first one, you think, oh, it's not one of those nights, and it could go 2-3 in a few minutes. And we did. Even the last 2 minutes of the game, we was through, I think, 2v1 and one time, and the pass was played when Eden was offside slightly, where those type of opportunities there to kill a team, just the timing of a little bit runs offside, or the finishing just weren't there, or, you know, like just the wrong passes sort of certainly overhit or something. It was just one of those nights, and disappointing, because it ain't often that you get that amount of chances against Atletico Madrid. You wouldn't get that in 2 or 3 games normally against them, so to get that in a half shows how well we played, but then that's what's tinged with disappointment, that you created so much against them but still come out of a draw.
Because Simeone, as soon as they went ahead, he was going to make an attacking change, but then suddenly they went ahead, and it was Torres who was coming off, because he wanted to lock it up. Because we've watched them over the seasons, they are so good when they have a lead, normally at defending that lead and locking up, and that's exactly what Diego Simeone wanted to do, because that was their only chance, however slim it was, of going through, was to take the 3 points.
Yeah, that or another counter-attack, basically, was all they was banking on. You know, for me, it was funny, actually, because I thought Torres played quite well, even though he didn't affect it, as in goal chances and stuff. I thought he was a handful with little touches and stuff like that.
And
I thought,
it's funny you say that, because he went mad, because I don't think he wanted Torres to come off. I think it was Torres before they scored, and then when he was trying to change it and he said something, and when he saw that it was Torres, he went bananas at the people behind. It was almost like he didn't want Torres to come off.
Yeah, so they made put the wrong number up.
Yeah.
Because there was a real shuffle, wasn't it? What you were up in the gantry was Pat. You were a lot closer to the action, and a lot of people on social media saying, especially after the first half, it wasn't that great. But watching Simeone and Conte, because they're not two fellas that like to stand still, are they?
No, and I have to say, we all know that our bosses can be animated on the sideline, but I don't think I've seen one like Simeone before. He is kicks every ball, gets annoyed at his staff, things that what's going on the pitch. He's like, honestly, he's one of them. He's turning around, going crazy at them, as if I was thinking, what, they're all putting their hands up, like. But he went. I was really surprised that if you look at what our manager got punished for with a 4th official last week, Simeone done it about 4 times. I'm telling you, absolutely just crazy at the 4th. But I don't know, maybe they're used to him being like that. But I haven't seen a manager as frantic constantly from the minute 1 to the end there, like him.
You just have cameras on those guys. Now, as happens in matches, the players who didn't play that much or didn't play at all, they go out and warm down on the pitch afterwards. What, Frank, do you think the general feeling is going to be? The aim was at the beginning to go through to the next stage, haven't gone through top, so it's going to be kind of mixed feelings in there, or just generally happy they're through? Yeah,
well, I think, we was pleased that we got through after the last game, but the big thing was to try and win the group, just to make the route to trying to get to the final obviously a little bit more comfortable. But at the end of the day, you've got to play all the best teams, and I'm sure the manager will go on that flip side of it. Listen, to win this competition, you've got to beat all the best teams at some stage. So whoever we get, hopefully the draw will be kind, but whoever we get, you've got to beat them to carry on. And there's no pushovers at this level of football, really.
I'm not sure I like that thing with the elastic bands. Do you do that with the under-18s, or?
We don't, but whenever they go over with the first team, they do a bit of that, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think I'd move the plastic band if you...
I think it'd go the other way.
Yeah, power's gone in the leg.
But when we talk about going through... Look, there are good teams every year, and you say you've got to beat the best to get through, but we were just having a quick chat, and as things stand, Barcelona and PSG, they've gone through top. Man City and Man U, they've gone through top. We can't face them. If Liverpool and Spurs go through top as well, we've already got rid of 4 teams that we cannot face, so you're down to what? Besiktas, PSG and Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah.
Yeah, I know which one out of them 3 that we'd prefer.
Exactly.
But like Frank said, it's one of those. We let's get it right. We've beaten teams like PSG and Barcelona before, but at the same time, it is one of those you would You would prefer Besiktas,
So.
most definitely. As much as we'd like the likes of Barcelona and PSG to come to Stamford Bridge, it would be nicer at a later date.
Yeah. Pat, you've got to agree with that. If it does come to be one of those three, then surely Besiktas is up there in shining lights.
We've already started thinking about it. Everyone's talking about it, you know, as we're walking out the ground. The likelihood now is that it's going to be one of those three teams. And to be fair, you really don't want PSG. You kind of don't want Barca, but you could maybe do it. You really want Besiktas. So we know where we are just now. Having said that, we should have won the game. The lads have already talked about it. A number of the stats and a number of the players kind of show what it was like. Let's have a look at Morata first. He had a few chances. We're talking about who had the actual best chances. And we'll have a look at his chances. There you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots he had at goal. Mostly on target. There was one that was probably the most difficult one to take, was his 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and then didn't manage to put it away. But that was chances that was coming all through the team. It's not just Alvaro. There was quite a lot of them. And you look all the way through the team. I mean, Eden himself just had a couple. I don't think he's going to get the goal, even though it was his shot and it was deflected in. He's only had a couple. But even this is two as well. But these are two big ones. And I think the lads will talk about this at some point. Andreas Christensen, I said before the game, I thought he's due a goal. And I can't believe he's not scored a goal. If you haven't seen it yet, he's had great chances. He's getting into amazing positions. It is going to happen. The sad thing is it's not quite happening yet. Before we go away from Andreas Christensen, I just want to show you one little thing about him. That's his pass map. Have a look at that. Mass of green passes. They're all to his own players. That's a great percentage rate. And the ones that haven't gone to his own players, that's a long one. You can just about accept that. That's brilliant. That's 95+% accuracy that he's got there. Now, that's what you want for your centre-backs. If you watch Manchester City playing just now, John Stones does that for them, and it's a massive part of the play. Keep the ball at the back. Don't give it away. Centre-backs in the old days used to lump it forward. Their pass percentage rate was something like 50%. Much, much better with these players just now. But at the moment, I mean, I'm just most disappointed with the fact that we had a lot of chances in goal, with a lot of opportunities for a lot of different players. But in a lot of time, we're unlucky as well. Zappacosta had a great chance in the first half that he made himself. Batshuayi nearly killed it at the end. Again, if we'd have scored 4, 5, 6 goals tonight, it would not have been ridiculous. We were that much better in the second half.
Can I stay frank with Andreas Christensen for a little bit as a senior defender? We can still call him a junior defender if we're calling you a senior defender. What do you like most? What stands out? What's the one thing, if you pick one thing about Christensen, that you like as a defender?
It's difficult just to pick one, but I'd say his composure on the ball. But there's many stuff that comes with that composure, making the right decisions, being in the right position at the right time. So his positioning as well is key to how he plays. And majority of the game, he stays behind the ball. He stays behind the ball. He stays goal side of the ball. So he's always that outlet so that we can go back and start again. And he's always that insurance cover as well. So he makes the job look very easy, which is a sign of a very good player.
He's just still going like this, Jody. He's just continuing to go up and up and up.
Yeah, and there's sides of his game that are massively improved that people used to question him on. They used to question him aerially. Is he any good in the air? I think he wins more headers than any of our back three at the minute. Like Pat touched on, and he's right to touch on it, he's getting on the end of so many set pieces lately that you've almost got to start being harsh on him and be more demanding that he needs to score a goal, because Pat's right, he's getting on the end of it and he'll kick himself tonight, with especially one that flashes across the goal. When he is, you start at the beginning, you go, do you know what, he's winning headers, okay, then he's getting on the end and you're going, all right, he's directing them towards goal. Now you're going, okay, you've got to go on another level and start getting the JTs in you, or the Gary Cahills, your Ivanoviches. You've got to start scoring the goals when you're getting in there now, because the rapid improvement in the air for him has been first class. And it's all about timing. Yes, he's the power in his legs. He's getting a lot more height than he was 2 years ago. He's growing. He's still only 21. I think he's going to get better and better.
You mentioned JT. He was alongside you today at the Under-19s, the UEFA Youth League game.
Yeah.
How is he? I know he's got the broken metatarsal.
Yeah, he's all right. He's chomping at the bit to get back. He was kind of joking, going, blimey, the results they're getting at the minute, Villa, he's might not get back in, but I'm sure he'll be all right. No, he's always been one to come and, because he was local for a couple of days, he's always been one to come and watch the youth teams or the academy teams. So no, it was good to see him, as I said, and little things like that. And I actually thought of JT when Andreas would missed one of the chances, because they still speak regularly, JT and Andreas.
Really?
And I know
That's
that
good.
he would be. Yeah. No, he's took him under his wing from years ago, and
Really? Okay.
and was always on about him improving aerially and stuff like that. So
it's a big part of being successful is your defenders chipping in with goals. You know, we've had it over the years. Like you
Yeah,
said,
we've been
with
lucky.
Ivanovic and JT, Gary Cahill's come and done the same thing, and it can be the difference between being successful and not, because your forwards will get their amounts and stuff like that. When
They're
you've
like
got
the bonus
defenders-
goals.
Yeah, exactly.
defenders.
When you get them defenders chipping in with 5 and 6 a season as well, you know, it could be the difference between winning things.
But yeah, I mean, just to go back to Christensen, you can't underestimate how smoothly he has transitioned into such an important, integral part of our team. We all know how good David Luiz is, and especially in that central of the three at the back, but there's nobody sort of screaming out going, we need to make sure, where's David Luiz, he's going to be back in. At the minute, Andreas Christensen has just slipped in to a formation or a back three that has been so solid, and if anything, at the minute, you'd go, is he been the best defender of the lot so far this season for a 21-year-old that had never played for us before? Well, once before. Do you know what I mean?
Now, this is a programme that you'll want to watch, including everyone watching, the 11th of December, 9 p.m. It's a programme dedicated to Andreas Christensen, and it features John Terry. So watch it. I know you watch The Jungle, but maybe on that occasion...
Of course I watch it. I always watch Chelsea TV.
Yeah, no, of course, but maybe you can put that ahead of The Jungle and then sort of catch up on The Jungle afterwards.
Kind of coming off The Jungle, it's getting a bit boring.
Is Dennis Wise still in?
Yeah, he is. He needs to liven up a bit. He needs to do something.
Tackle someone. I don't know.
Yeah,
get a red card.
He's being too sensible at the minute.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, the longer he's in there, you never know. The match you were watching earlier, 4 goals, and the thing about the UEFA Youth League is the teams who came out through on top, straight through, if you were second, there was a chance you've got to go into a playoff. So it was very, very, very important Chelsea won that group. Yeah,
very important. And to be fair to the lads, they absolutely dominated that game. I know Atletico scored 2 goals later, but it was a real good performance from a side that has not always been the starting boys in the Champions League this year, because obviously with the Checker Trade game tomorrow, we've had to balance the 2 games in 2 days. But the boys that came in, they totally dominated in Atletico Madrid. They're usually decent, so it was a real good performance from Joe and Mizey's boys.
And that's live, Checker Trade Trophy tomorrow. Something else for you to watch, 7:45 away to MK Dons. I've got everyone's viewing sorted out. We talked about Andreas Christensen. Can I have your man of the match? Just interesting to see who you think came out on top of everyone and how they played and why.
That's a really good question. I hadn't given a lot of thought. Christensen's got to have a bit of a shot at it. I thought Zappacosta had a good first half, maybe faded a little bit in the second half. Similar with Moses, really good first half, faded a bit in the second half. But I'm biased. Anytime Eden Hazard goes in 6 or 7 mazy dribbles, I'm going to give it to Eden.
It's hard not to, though. I mean, some of there are players that take your breath away, and when it happens 3, 4, 5 times in a half, it's hard to not look at him and go, this fella is a truly world class player that does things that, to be fair, nobody else on the pitch can do. They all talk about Griezmann and he's this, that, and I don't think he's a patch on Eden Hazard. Not a patch.
They were talking a lot about Griezmann's hair. It's just sort of strange. But Eden Hazard, what I love about him is his positivity. He's so laid back. I know some people, Jody, look at it as a negative because they think if he wasn't so laid back, maybe they'd be talking about him alongside Ronaldo and Messi. But I love the fact that in his post-match interview, they're like, can he whip PSG and Buzz? Of course he can. We're Chelsea. We're this. I like that side of him.
Yeah, and to be fair, Frank touched on it where he was going, some players are just cut from a different cloth, and what floats your boat type thing. And if he operates best by being relaxed and laid back, then let him do it. We all do have that burning question going, oh, what if he was a little bit more driven, or he wanted to score more goals and a bit more selfish, or do you know what I mean? We'd always have that, just because we've seen how good he is. But you never know, if he started being like that, it might take something away from his freedom on the pitch. I'd watch him all day. There's a few players that you'd pay to watch. He is up there. He's up there.
Totally is, Frank.
Yeah, I concur with the lads there, without a shadow of a doubt. He was going to be my man of the match, regardless of what Pat said. But Pat touched on it towards the end there. He is the go-to man at the minute. He is the go-to man, and he was the one that, when we were behind, you believed that he could get us back in the game. And then, obviously, we made a couple of substitutions, and Willian came on and looked lively and looked like he was trying to open them up as well. And then we started going from different angles and trying to get at him, you know, not just focused just on Hazard, but, you know, he's an outstanding player for us at the moment.
But it was quite interesting, Pat, in your recent column for Chelsea, you were talking about Hazard, and you said he's the kind of player you want to play all the time, but maybe you can't because you've got to rest him, and that's the balance.
The thing is, every top player wants to play all the time when you're in great form. You're desperate. When you're in that sort of form, you want to be on the pitch. Problem is, we will all run ourselves into the ground. And remember, he will have a World Cup coming up as well. There have been times in his career when he has faded little periods. Now, whether he's been injured, and you can't tell anyone you're injured, you're just injured, and it will slow you down. It just happens with every player, it's normal. There has been a fading sometimes because he's been burnt out for periods because he's played through summers and World Cups, etc., Euros. That can happen as well. And it's all about management of that situation. And I think the manager's acutely aware of this. And if and when the opportunities arrive, we go 3-1 up at the weekend. He's off within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Get him
I
off.
think that's important.
Rest him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's big that you do that because
it's about managing.
He won't be tired, and he'll be okay for this week. He'll be all right for next week. We've got how many games have we got in December? You know, is it 10, 11, whatever games in December, and it's a lot to ask of any player, particularly one who's getting lumped all over the place. And again, he took a lot of hits tonight, didn't he?
They were ruthless in the first half.
Not as bad as Liverpool, but he took a lot of hits tonight. And it, you know, as a player who get kicked a lot myself, you get up and you say, I'm going to get on with it. But it's like horse racing. When they go down, it slows them down a wee bit. And it does kind of get it. And it gets me very frustrated when they wipe him out time and again. The referee goes, terrible. And you're thinking, that's a yellow. You won't be able to do it again if you give him a yellow. So it's a bit frustrating, but you've got to live with it. And the thing is, the lovely thing is, Eden never complains.
No, he just gets up and dusts himself off, doesn't he?
The only thing you would say is that he's had a nice little break with his injury. I know it's hard sometimes that you'd go, injuries are their own problems separate, but at the same time, you do get to have a decent rest, even though you've got a part of your body that's obviously suffering. But then you do need to be careful that after injury that you don't overdo it as well. So that's what the medical staff are there for. But I do actually think that Eden's one of those players that he needs to keep playing. I wouldn't want to take him out too much. When he's in rhythm, you've got to let him go.
Yeah, 100%. So the unanimous man of the match this evening, Eden Hazard. We'd like to bring you reaction from those involved in the action. So what better place to start than with Chelsea captain Gary Cahill?
Well, Gary, you're left scratching your head and wondering how on earth we didn't win that game. So many chances.
No, exactly that. That was my first thought when I come in. I just, how have we not won that game is incredible. But at the same time, the performance was good from us, and their keeper had a fantastic game. Pulled off some great saves, especially the one where he took the knee into the face, still kept it out somehow. So, credit to him, but we should have won that game.
Showed good powers of recovery, though, to come from behind again, just as on Saturday, and make sure that we didn't lose the game. It was a good response, having gone a goal behind. Yeah,
of course, I felt that way. I mean, I said when we was out there, we've got plenty of time. They scored early on. We had plenty of time to turn that around, and like I said, we should have done. It was a sloppy goal to concede on our behalf, but nevertheless, we created more than enough to win the game. So on another day, we win, but we have to take the point.
Is it reason for concern, thinking back to Swansea this time last week, just the one goal then, just the one tonight? Obviously we're creating the chances, but we're not quite putting them away, maybe with the efficiency we should do at the moment.
Yeah, not really a concern. I think I'd be more concerned if they wasn't creating chances and their goalkeeper wasn't having anything to do, and that's not the case. So on another day we put them away. That's certainly not the concern. I think we created more than enough, and that shows that we was on the front foot. That shows we was looking to win the game. They're a very good team. I think for the neutral, I think that was a great game to watch. Just a shame we couldn't get the final goal.
What's it like to play in a game like that when it gets to the last 15 minutes and both teams need a win? It was tiring enough commentating on it, never mind playing in it.
Yeah, it was like a bit like basketball, wasn't it? It was they committed a lot of bodies forward, and we hit them on a break every time we got the ball back. So it looked like there was going to be another goal in the game, but it wasn't somehow. Like you said, two very good teams going to try and win a game. So for the neutral, like I said again, I think it must have been a great game to watch, I'm sure.
It's been a crazy group, this. You think we beat Qarabag 10-0 on aggregate. Madrid didn't beat them once. We've got the better of Madrid over 2 games. Roma have got the better over us. Always looked like it was going to be one of the tightest groups. That's exactly how it's worked out.
It was a crazy group. I think Qarabağ have put up a great fight in the group. Aside from our games, which is obviously credit to us. I know we had a sending off at their place, but that's credit to us. And like I said, everyone seems to be beating everyone, and Atletico were normally very, very strong, and they are a fantastic team. I had a disappointing group stages, and we were a bit disappointed we didn't finish top. You know, we wanted to win, we wanted to finish top, and I thought for anyone watching that game, you know, we were showing we wanted to finish top.
Finally, all eyes on the draw on Monday. Might be Barcelona, might be PSG again, might be somebody like Besiktas. But if you're going to win the Champions League, as we know from 2012 when we had it all hard all the way from the knockout stages to the final, you've got to beat the best team.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Let's not lie as well. You know, let's hope we dodge them and progress further. You know, you expect to see the very, very big teams later on, but at this stage of the competition, the teams that are qualified are all top teams. So, like you said, you can't dodge anyone too much. We just hope the draw's a good draw for us.
Thanks for your time, well done.
Thank you.
Cheers.
He's still wondering how we didn't score more goals for all those chances. But, Jody, it has been a bit of a crazy group when you think of how it's panned out. And we haven't even touched on the fact that Atletico Madrid, they're out of the Champions League and they're into the Europa League.
Yeah, good point. If you'd have said at the beginning that Atletico would be the ones going out, I think people would have been looking at you talking rubbish. But maybe not you, Gigi. No, it is one of those. But it just shows you, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, Pat was touching on earlier that they haven't lost many games at all. Like, they're tough to beat.
One game.
They're tough to beat, and we've beaten them, and we should have battered them tonight. So it tells you how well we played against them in 2 games, and obviously their big slip-ups are the Qarabağs. But like we said, there are games where teams want to park the bus. You've got to unlock them, and for me, that's one of the things that I think Atletico are struggling with this year is that they just don't. They're lacking a bit of
the cutting edge.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like
where
you think they used to suffocate everybody off the ball, and you go, okay, but they still could unlock teams, and they still would go at you with a bit of directness and.
Beforehand, when you left earlier on, we started talking about the fact that if they had Diego Costa in their team, and when they get Diego Costa, that might make a.
You think it'll help Griezmann as well in terms of
because he then can float a little bit more.
Yeah. See, I actually think they're lacking from where Luis used to do well on the side. I actually think they're lacking from right fullback where it used to be one Fran.
Yeah.
He used to be
still
fantastic.
there.
He's got a hamstring injury.
And even the midfielders, it's almost like they're content with staying behind the ball rather than sort of penetrating. I think they've been quite easy to defend. I know we've conceded tonight and obviously in the first game, but you're going silly penalty in the first game and a set piece tonight. They haven't unlocked us at all.
Well, if people are just joining us, let's take a look at Group C and how that's ended, because Group C is done, business is over, it is settled, and it's Roma because of the superior head-to-head they have over Chelsea. And it was one of those nights, Frank, that you're listing what's happening in Rome, what's happening at Chelsea. Atletico went ahead, Qarabağ then, are they going to score? It was there were two or three outcomes that could have happened this evening.
Could have done, but the most genuine one would be that Roma would get a result at home against Qarabağ, which is, which let you know that how important the result was at our place, basically. So you're disappointed with that, and then to score 5+5 more goals than Roma as well, and go out because of the results against them as well. So that's the difference.
How aware are you as players out there what's happening elsewhere? If it's kind of a group situation and things can happen, do people let you know from the sidelines? Are you aware, or you just go out and win?
I think that when you're coming in at half time, if it's dependent on whether you're staying in or not, I think you'd be asking questions. But when it's about first or second, I wouldn't care. I don't think people are bothered. It's like you're concentrating on the game. If it's in or out, then you need to be aware, and especially the subs and people like that, because if you need to be ready to go at the drop of a hat to go and get a goal to either stay in the competition, they need to be prepped and ready.
It's amazing how unusual it is to happen. It doesn't actually happen that often that this situation occurs where you need to get that information on. And to be honest, the times I remember doing it, you could tell by the manager's face. Was he panicking? Was he going absolutely mad? But you're right, it's, in a way, we just kind of knew today, we probably needed to win the game. That was it. We probably need to win the game. So nothing really greatly changed through most of it.
The draw is on Monday, and we're all wanting, at this stage, Besiktas, depending what happens tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah,
No one will be
sometimes they
safe.
say be careful what you wish for, but certainly with the other two options, you'd say, excuse me, you'd say that you'd fancy playing against Besiktas and getting through the tie. The other two could go either way.
Funny enough, I would be more concerned about PSG than Barca, amazingly, at the moment. Just their game against Celtic, 12-1 aggregate. Celtic aren't hopeless. That's 12-1. That's just doing that to anybody. But a team that's on a 65-66 game run of not being defeated in their domestic games. And I know it's not
Scottish
a
though,
great
isn't they? Scottish, Pat.
I knew you were going to come in on that one. I
Scottish
accept
record,
that.
isn't it? Come on, Patrick.
And Rangers aren't the power. I heard all that stuff before. But in actual fact, you beat anybody at this level.
Yeah,
and we
true.
beat Carabag 6-0.
Yeah.
We were delighted
Yeah,
with
no, not
you know,
definitely.
anyone at all. So they're a team.
Yes, they are. And the first legs are towards the end of February. Now, a little bit earlier, you heard from Gary Cahill. More reaction for you now. And this time, let's go to the man in charge, the manager, Antonio Conte.
Antonio, hard luck, so many chances, we just couldn't convert the one at the end there to make it the win that we probably deserved.
Yeah. I think for sure a good performance, and we created a lot of chances to score and to win the game. The goalkeeper was fantastic, and he made good saves. In other circumstances, we could do better. It's a pity because I think we played a really good game. We deserved to win this game against a good team like Atletico Madrid. But I think our performance was very good.
You're pleased to see the resilience of your players to come back from a goal down just like they did on Saturday and make sure they got something from the game?
Yeah, I must be honest. I prefer don't go down. Yeah, and in this case, after a corner, we considered a goal. I think in this competition, but in every game, the details are very important because the details move the final result. In this case. We made mistakes, but it's normal, and I was player and can happen this. But at the same time, we have to continue to work and on the details and to try to improve our team.
Obviously, we would have rather have finished top of the group, but given how tough it's been and aside of the quality of Atletico Madrid haven't made it through, it goes to show what an achievement it is just to come in the top two and make it through to the knockout stages.
I think our group was maybe the group more tough, yeah. And you can see that Atletico Madrid they played in the past this competition, but they played and they reached twice the final of Champions League, and to go now to play Europa League, it means that our group was very tough. I think at the end that Chelsea and Rome deserved more to go to the next round.
It's likely to be a tough draw for us when it's made on Monday, but if you want to go deep into this competition, you have to play the big teams at some stage.
But now it's important that we went in the next 16, and now we must be ready. We must be ready to play to face the best team. This competition it's great. It's a fantastic competition because you have to face against great team, and we must be ready. We must be ready and to wait the draw.
And finally, we can put the Champions League to bed until next year now, but another massive game coming up on Saturday, a London derby against West Ham. Is everybody in good shape for that? Any injury concerns from tonight?
No. I think my players finished the game in a great physical condition. We pushed from the start until the end. It means that we are in a good form. But as you know very well, in this league, every game is very tough, and to play against West Ham, a London derby, it's an important game. Now we have to rest and to prepare the next game.
Hard luck tonight. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Frank, it is an awfully quick turnaround to then go and face West Ham at lunchtime on Saturday.
Yeah, the only blessing is obviously the form of West Ham at the moment.
Yeah.
Probably a good time to play them off the back of this game. But still, got to go there and do a number on them because, you know, they've shown already they will lie down, but they won't lie down unless you force them to. You know, you put in that performance that, you know, they surrender to it, and then you could have an easy afternoon. But certainly going there, they'll be up for it initially.
To be fair, West Ham put in a good performance against Man City. Away there, well organised, well structured. They didn't get much of the
Look
ball
better.
as usual, but they fought and they battled for the group. But you know, we play our best. We win that one again. The couple of positives about it. It's not the best atmosphere down there, is it? It's not a great atmosphere down
It
there.
hasn't really taken off,
It's
has
not
it, at
taken
the Olympic Stadium?
So that will help us a little bit. But I have to say I'm looking forward to the game. I think we have got options, you know, and I think he might be tempted to use one or two options and change maybe 2 or 3 positions from the starting lineup today.
The only thing I would say about that is that I agree. I think that they'll set out exactly the same way as they did against Man City because it's the most solid they've looked.
Yeah.
But doing that at Man City is a lot different to doing that at home, where you're just parking the bus and there's no attacking threat, no passes being made. Those fans will let you know that that's not the West Ham way and we should need to be doing this whatsoever. So that's slightly different to being at Manchester City and...
But they won't open up against us.
No, exactly, I agree. But I mean, what it will do is it will get the fans on the back of their players a little bit more than rather than at Man City going, OK, I'm happy with not making a pass for 7 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, we wanted people to get in touch and give us a call, and someone I haven't heard from in a while or spoken to, Mark Lovey. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Gigi. Good evening, Jody. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, Pat.
Hey, Mark.
It's been all busy on the work front, offshore, onshore. And,
Mark, have you... Mark,
also
hang
let you know
on.
that
Mark,
a new
just
Chelsea
quickly,
member to the
do you...
family.
Mark, do you have your television on? Because you sound a little bit like a Dalek, which some people might like, but we just can't hear it.
Aye.
There we go.
Been offshore,
No,
onshore.
you still sound like a Dalek.
I think he's
Not
offshore,
very
he's
light.
in a submarine.
Happy with tonight's game. Eden Hazard, man of the match. And bring on the Barcelona on Monday for the draw. Don't fear anyone. And definitely PSG.
Right, OK, I think I got the gist of that. Slightly Dalek-y. Mentioned Eden Hazard. Did he say he wanted PSG? Maybe
No,
I
I think he went to Barca.
Oh, there we
Bring on
go.
Barca.
And I know that he did want to speak about their keeper, who had, Jody, one of those evenings. Yes, we created a lot of chances, but he pulled off a couple of great saves.
Yeah, and fair play. Listen, that's what the goalies are there for. But you would hope that you'd beat a keeper with the amount of chances that we created tonight. Like, hope. I mean, you'd expect certainly the players that it fell to. Well, I know Andreas had a couple of real good ones that you'd expect because they were so close to the goal. You're thinking. I think one of them was harder to miss for Andreas. The one that goes glancing across. I know there's power on it, but.
He's actually ran about 30 yards to get onto it. It's amazing seeing when you see the run he makes to get onto it. He's came from miles outside the area. He's just made a beeline in there.
But it's great that he's got the confidence to be doing that. I know he said he's got to add that rank to his game, but it's great he's got the confidence to get into those positions.
It's that JT thing. This is his desire to get in there. And, you know, he's going to score. And he's going to end up going in a run. I'm absolutely convinced.
I think the fact that he's seen how many times he's winning aerial battles at the back is giving him confidence going forward for the set pieces. Because if you're continuously beating strikers that are bigger than you or supposedly good aerial threats, when you're defending, you're going, well, all right, then I can turn it into an attack. And to be fair, you wouldn't be getting sent up there if you weren't any good in the air anyway, because we've got a few that are decent.
With everyone, all the defenders fit, Frank, is he first choice? Is he in there in the first choice defensive line?
Yeah, as a sweeper, I believe so. You know, I'm not going to just say it because he's playing now, but I said it a long time before he got in the side that I thought the 2 times when he did play and then he went out of the team and then the form of David Luiz, you know, combined with that, I thought he should have been back in earlier than he actually did. And I'm not surprised he's playing as well as he is because he showed that, you know, Tottenham away. So I think he gets in our strongest back three. Definitely.
You know, the lovely thing is, you talk about that. All you need to do is, if you're David Luiz, you turn around and look at and listen to what Cesc Fabregas said today and say, right, OK, that's how you react now. You go out there and you work your socks off and you make sure the best you can be. Now, David, it's come out in the last couple of days that David has actually been injured. He's had a knee injury for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And you have to put that up there, that as players, we all did it. Because you know that if you do step out of the team, somebody like Andreas Christensen might walk in and take your place. So you don't go out, and then people are saying, you know, you're not doing so well just now. It might be because you're in that catch-22. If I step out, I might not get back in because he's got the position. But if I stay in, I'm playing not fully fit. And it's a tough one, but we all live with that all through our careers.
Listen, it happened to JT. JT was in the team in his last season at the club and came out of the team and they went on a run. And if JT can't get back in the team, then do you know what I mean? It don't matter who you are. If someone that's coming in and the team as a whole is defending well and performing, and especially people that play in your position, then, like you said, you might have to wait till there's an injury or there's a drop in form
or something like that. Yeah.
Now, as fans, former players, how much do you love this stage of the season? Matches all over the shop, Christmas trees, presents, mulled wine, the whole works.
I love it. I just wish that they'd give us a decent amount of time to recover before the next games. These silly early kickoffs after midweek games. Do you know what I mean? I think was it 3 times that you said that earlier?
Yeah, 3. This is the third. This is going to be the third one.
Yeah, I mean, but I do like it. I like the games coming thick and fast, and I think that when you've got a squad that's good enough to deal with it, which I believe we have, I think it's nice to see rotation in the squad around the busy periods.
Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. The group stage is complete. Thank you very much for your company. And that's all we've got time for this evening as the group stage of the Champions League comes to a close for Chelsea. Go through as Group C runners-up behind Rome after failing to beat Atletico. And a reminder, the draw for the knockout stages is on Monday. Don't forget to join us for Blues News tomorrow at usual time of 6:30, more reaction. And then the Checker Trade Trophy, 7:45 live action away to the MK Dons. So plenty to look forward to. Until next time, take care of yourselves, enjoy yourselves. There's plenty to come on the channel, so keep watching and we will see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.